And welcome to Grandad's Reviews. Now this is the second part of my look at Dehancer. So we're going to have a look at how it works in Lightroom. We're going to have a quick look at the online version, so you can actually do it online through a web browser. And also there's an iPad app, so we'll have a very quick look at that. Now I've already done this video actually. I sat down and I filmed going through all of the sliders, what each of them does, changing every single one. Filmed for about an hour, and then I came to edit it and I thought, this is too much. What we need to know, what we want to see is, does Dehancer actually give you the film look, or does it produce a final image from a digital file that looks like the final image of a scanned negative of that film profile? As I said in my previous video, the intro, it's tricky. We can see if it gives us the film look, like the softness, the grain, the colour palette, that sort of thing. But we're only going to be comparing it to a scanned negative. That scanner software has done its own processing, no matter what software you've used. Even if you scanned it raw and then converted it with Negative Lab Pro or Grain to Pixel, which I use, they're all going to do something to the negative. So all I want to see is, do we end up with an image that, if you have a look, it's going to be difficult to say it's a digital image, it's more like a film image. So what I've got here in Lightroom, I've downloaded the plugin, followed the installation instructions. I'll put a link down below with all the installation instructions, also the help manuals, so you can go through it. So I'm not going to go through all the settings it can change. We'll have a quick overview of the interface, but what I recommend you do is go to the help manuals, have them open on your screen while you're using Dehancer, so you can see a more detailed description of each thing, and you don't have to keep whizzing back to a video to see it. You can even print them out if you want to, and then you can see what each one does. But we'll have a look at the UI. If you hear any noise in the background, we've got trains going through because we've got another station's closed, so we've got more trains coming through, and there's a couple of printers running as well, so I apologise for that. So what I've got is I've reduced the amount of images we're going to look at. So I've got some Hector, and then we've got some Kodak Portra 160, and we'll have a quick look at those. So we'll start with the Hector. So you go into your develop tab. So this is from a Fuji. It's a raw RAW file, and what the instructions say basically, and I agree, edit your raw file to get it technically how you want it. So using the basics panel, getting the exposure and the highlights, how you would do it without adding anything else. I'd take the sharpening down to 0, because you don't want to add any sharpening, because a negative is slightly softer. I'd leave my lens corrections in, but just mainly the basic panel. Don't do any tone curve, colour mixing, colour grading or anything like that. We just want it generally right. So this is the raw file, and this is the same, nearly the same setup, but this was shot on a medium format, 6x7 back on a 4x5 camera. So as you can see, it is softer. So if we go into this one, now I've took the detail off, so if I put the detail back on, that gets a bit sharper, but we'll take that off. So this is the film image with the grain. So what we want to find out is, can we get this image to look like the other image. So to edit it, you right click, edit in, and edit in Dehancer. If you follow the installation instructions, you'll see how this is added to your external editing, and just put it in the additional external editor, custom, and then finally delete. But if you follow the instructions, you'll see how it's done. Edit in and Dehancer, and it's just going to use it as a TIFF. I recommend you use sRGB with 16-bit. We just hit edit. This will make a copy, which is unfortunate, but there you go. When you first open it up, this is what you'll get. And it threw me for a quick second because I was picking these and nothing was happening. But you have to initialize the film profiles by ticking this tick here. So we know this is Kodak Ektar. So if we go film type, color negative, we can drop this down, Ektar 100. And this is what we get straight off the bat. So let's work our way around the UI. So we're in the film section. We've got presets. Some of these presets are by the Dehancer team. So they've edited them and made them their own. And you can create your own presets, put them in there. And as you can see, you can pick those. And so you can import preset, export presets, delete them, or create a new preset. In films, if you've got a favourite, you can favourite it. And you can reset the tool back to the defaults. This one here just closes that panel. This is your settings, where if there's any film profiles you'll need to update. Simple as that. This restores to last use settings, so if you make any changes here, you can restore it back to the last setting, or if you've created another set of settings, come back into it. It'll have those settings set, but if you click on this, it'll go to the previous settings. This resets everything, and then you've got undo last edit and go forward from the last edit. Along here, we've got the clipping to show any clipping, which I haven't got. This, we'll just get rid of this histogram at the bottom. This is 1:1, and this is before and after. Cancel and OK. So these are all your things you can change. The source is basically just to do any extra work to the source that you want to do. It's like the input settings. And as you see, we're already changing what the film the profiles put onto it. We go to 1:1. This is the basic profile. And then you'd work your way down all the different sections. And as I say, if you get the instructions, each section is given a detailed description of what it does, and so you've got an idea of what you need to do. So I'll just quickly run down here, do a few settings for myself, and then we'll see what we come up with. So I've done a few settings. So this is the before, this is the after. Now the only, I can't say a criticism, but the only thing I would like to change is these sliders are very sensitive. Got to barely touch them, especially in the source section. Just go a tiny bit and it's huge amount. It's very hard to get a precise adjustment on it, so it's a bit difficult. So we've got all the settings we want and we go OK. So let's start off by comparing it to the Fuji one. It certainly is different. So then let's compare it to the Ektar one. We'll pick that same area. And the grain is very similar. And yeah, I'm quite impressed. There's the grain, it's going to be a grain here, and it's very similar. You are getting a filmic look to the image. Let's get rid of that one. Let's go somewhat different. So this was taken with a 5D Mark III, and this was an EOS 5 with Portra 160. And obviously there's a sharpness difference. Let's go into detail. Got any sharpening on it? Yeah, so let's take the sharpening out of it. Nothing much done in the basics, but I will just knock exposure down a little bit. Try and get it somewhere. So let's take this image and do the same. So as I said, it goes straight back to your previous settings. So if you want to start all over, just hit that one and everything goes back to normal. We'll click on the film profiles, colour negative. We want Portra 160. So this is what we've got to start with. So we'll leave it at that. I'll just run down and do a little bit of editing on it and we'll see what we get. So we've gone from that to that. We might just need to say these are so difficult to get, and we'll go OK. So this is our edited one. This is one from the film camera. And I've got to say, apart from probably the exposure on this one, there might be a little bit more contrast in this. But the actual filmic look is pretty close. Got that soft look and grain. Like I say, it probably could do warming up a tiny bit. We're never going to get it to match completely. If we look at the 5D one, I think it's done a very good job. Right, let's have a look at these. So this was 5D Mark III again, very sharp, and this was an EOS 3 on Portra. So we'll go into this one, edit in Dehancer, and set everything. Now we've got a push pull here, so if you think you'll benefit from any of that, and we'll just do a few quick edits. If you double click these dots, they go back. Now this is the edited one. This is the one from Camera Direct. So this one is from the EOS 3. Let's see if I can get some grain. Still a little bit sharper than the film one, but again, we can change that. We can knock down that if we want to. It's a little bit cooler, but I think overall it's done a pretty good job. Now the question is, does it do a better job than anything else? So I've got some presets here. There's portrait. And as you can see, there is a difference. All that preset's doing is changing the colour, the colour palette. It's added some grain, added a small amount of grain in there. But Dehancer has actually changed the look of the image. You can see this is still sharp. It's still digital, whereas this has got that film look to it. And I don't think any amount of fiddling with this is going to change that. So even if I bring the texture right down, we're losing definition, whereas it's still got the definition, but it's got a more organic look to it. I think with a little bit of fiddling you could get it closer. I don't think you're going to get it as easily. You've got more adjustments with Dehancer in the actual software itself. As I said, it's not perfect. It's not going to be the same as, because you're looking at a scan negative, which is different to a printed negative. So yeah, I think it does a very good job. I'm quite impressed. It's certainly better than just a preset. It's easier to do than you trying to do it yourself. So yeah, I would recommend it if that's what you want to do. If you want to get a filmic look on your stills images, then I believe Dehancer is very good. So as I say, you can do this online as well. So let's have a look at the online version. So I'll put the web address in the description below. So we've got, this is simple starting section. We click on here, pick a image, brings it in, and then we're straight into our film presets. You can make them smaller, we can drag them around. So let's, for instance, go for HP5. It'll load up. Then we've got like our source adjustment here as well, like before, so you can adjust the exposure up and down, such like. Then we've got, obviously, presets sends us back to picking what film we wanted. Light, all it does, it gives us this section. So let's go brighter. Obviously we've got no colour in this, so we're going to go colour. We can go effects. So we've got grain. So let's add a bit of grain in there. We don't want bloom in this. I don't want halation. But I might have a vignette. Something like that. We can hit that one before, after. We can go back to our adjust and just bring that exposure down a bit. Yep, we've got our grain. We've got our slightly out of focus kind of look to it. So yeah, you can do it online. So you could do it wherever you were, on a laptop or something like that. We can then load another picture or just export this. So we click on there, it just goes back to that. We can export it. And we've got a set of sizes we can do. And yeah, that's just a quick look at the online version. Right, so this is Dehancer on the iPad. When you open it up and add an image in, then first thing you come to is the preset section. And this is the same kind of presets that you've got on the actual PC version. and you can pick whichever preset you want. And these presets are again set in their little sections, so you get all presets, my presets if you've created any of yours, Dehancer team presets, and then imported presets. So that's the ones in the actual preset section. So you can go down and pick the one you feel like most suits the image you got. Then we press on the edit, and the first section is source along the bottom, as you can see, and that's light source in the software, and you can control exposure compensation, temperature, your tint. Then you go over to films along the bottom and pick the film you want. So if you don't want a preset, you just want a film, and then you can push and pull it. Next section is develop, do corrections in there. And then we go on to compression along the bottom, do a few bits and bobs, then go into expand. So it's got the whole same setup. Go to normal and luma in there, and go to the print section. So I say all these are the same as on the downloadable software. Into the color head, and then we end into film grain, so you can alter the film grain or pick a preset film grain. Halation you can pick, and the same with bloom, and each all have their own little presets in them as well. We'll then go into vignette. You can add a vignette. Then we got film damage, so you can add your scratches, your dust, whatever you want to make it look more realistic. And then we got the overscan, which is where it shows the sprocket holes, and then you can change how pronounced they are and position and such like. So as you can see, it's basically the same as what you download. It does the same job, and it does actually a really good job, and it's easy for when you're out and about and on the go. So what can I say about Dehancer for your stills? Yeah, I must admit, I was sceptical at the start. It's still not perfect. It's not, what can I say, it's not film, but I think it's one of the better ways of getting that film look. You've got more control. You've got more settings that you can change to get the look you want and see the effect straight away. It's certainly better than most presets I've ever used or even tried. And it's certainly easier than trying to do it yourself. Yes, you can. And there's no problem with that. If that's what you want to do it yourself, yeah, great. But it's certainly a lot easier. They've obviously put a lot of thought, a lot of time, a lot of effort into looking at all these different film stocks. They've took photos on film, they've developed the film, they've scanned the film, they've printed in a dark room with the film, and they've tested everything. And I think it's as close as you're going to get, to be honest, at this stage anyway. Whatever comes ahead, who knows. And it will give you that film look if that's what you want. If you don't want to be bothered with shooting film, and let's be honest, it can get expensive, especially if you're having to get the film developed and scanned by a lab, but you want that look, you enjoy that look, then I think this is an ideal way of doing it. I would recommend it. As I say, I was sceptical. I didn't think I was going to like it. Would I use it? To be honest, no, I wouldn't, because I shoot film. So I've no reason to use it because I do shoot film. But if I was going to do a film look on a digital image, then yes, I would use this, definitely. it'd be it'd be ideal, and I think it fits in with the workflow really well. So next video I'll do, we'll have a look at it in DaVinci Resolve. It's going to be very similar, but we'll have a quick look on how that works. And as I say, all the links to the instructions and installation I'll put on in the description. And if you want me to do a more in-depth video on all the different settings, then just stick a comment in, and if I have enough comments, I'll do that. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and hit that like button, because that helps the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. Till next time, see you later.